Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melisa Galasso, and I'm excited to share with you today a little bit about the FAF Strategic Plan. So the FAF, the Financial Accounting Foundation, is the parent organization to the FASB and the GASB. And in this season, we are going to talk a little bit about what is their strategic plan moving forward. Now, this is a little bit different than the strategic plans they've put out historically, which have been more about the FASB or the GASB. This one is literally, what is the FAF, the Financial Accounting Foundation? What are their responsibilities? What are their goals as we look forward? And so when we think about this, the FAF is a parent company, or a parent entity, I should say. The FAF and the FASB and GASB are nonprofit organizations. And the FAF is charged with governance of the foundation and oversight of the FASB and the GASB. And so they appoint the members of the board, they do the advisory councils, so they act in that advisory role. The boards, right, the FASB and the GASB board members and their staff are responsible for the financial accounting and reporting standards, right? So the staff people at both the FASB and the GASB, as well as those board members who ultimately vote through due process on changes, they are responsible for the technical research, the background, the reaching out, the agendas related to standard setting. Now, obviously, the FAF cannot impede on the independent and objective standard setting elements here, but they are responsible for selecting who sits on those boards. They are responsible for ensuring that that they have the right people sitting in the various council and advisory seats as well. And so the FAF, again, sitting on top of both of these boards, their mission is through governance and oversight, just like a traditional board, to ensure that the FASB and the GASB establish these high quality financial accounting and reporting standards, right? And so their goal is to provide information that is useful in decision making to investors and others, and improving overall stakeholder understanding for those standards, as well as the preparer's ability to implement them effectively. And so when we talk about mission, right, that's their goal, right? That's what they're designed to do. Their vision is very big. The vision is that the organization, including the boards, the FASB and the GASB, will be recognized and trusted as the leader in financial accounting reporting setting in the United States and as a prominent leader and collaborator globally, right? So in the United States, they're going to do the financial reporting, but they're going to be a big player globally as well. So, right, so mission and vision. All entities should be focused on their core values, and obviously independence with accountability is a huge element, right? We want to make sure that they don't act with any political persuasion, that they are independent. However, they're held accountable for the outcomes, right? So there's the post-issuance reviews, there's feedback from stakeholders. Excellence, obviously something I believe that both boards hold themselves to, and that the organization overall is making sure that they have the highest quality excellence in there. Obviously, transparency in the making of this. And so, the due process, the public meetings, the conversations that are had outside with stakeholders and feedback that's being provided. Obviously, acting with integrity and inclusivity, right? Inclusiveness is a big element of their goal. And we saw that with their most recently appointed board member. So starting in later this year, July 1st, 2023, there will be more women on the FASB board than men for the first time ever. And the female that will be joining us is also African American. So really adding to that diversity and inclusiveness of the profession, right? We should have a board that looks like the profession. And so what this strategic plan really talked about was, what are the goals of the FAF, right? What is their responsibility? So we know the FASB and the GASB are out there making standards and getting feedback, acting in a transparent manner, but what should the FAF be focused on? And so the FAF is going to be focused on, in service to the public interest, promoting the importance of independent standard setting to the capital markets, talking about why we have an independent board, why it's not a committee of the AICPA, which it was prior to, why it's not a government organization that's doing it. And so trying to talk about why it's important to have this independent standard setting. Obviously, ensure that financial accounting reporting standards advance as needed. So they are the oversight function. So making sure that what is needed is coming down the pike. Incorporate new and further embrace existing technologies to make the standard setting process more effective and productive from initial stakeholder input through delivery and consumption of standards. And so we saw a movement. The FASB actually literally moved. The FAF, the FASB, and GASB all moved to a new location. I heard it's supposed to be super techy. I'm very excited. I'll be going there in March for our not-for-profit accounting or advisory committee, NAC. And so looking forward to seeing the new digs. But I heard very technically oriented facility, able to make it a little bit easier for people to participate. They do a good job of offering a lot of opportunities for people to go through this. And so really embrace that. Build on their commitment to greater diversity, equity, inclusion. We see this with the new appointment of the new FASB board members. I would say that the GASB also is a much more diverse group as well. Exhibit leadership in global financial reporting. So while we are the U.S. standard setter, I think it is important to think about the FASB and GASB and the FAF as having a role, right? They, recently had the Japanese equivalent over to Norwalk to talk about it. They have been involved in discussions with IFRS, right? So, I think Jeff Mechanic has been involved in the IFR for MPO process. So really trying to be part of that global standard setting as well. And then engage with stakeholders, regulators, and Congress to determine the appropriate way, if any, for the organization to contribute to future sustainability reporting, right? ESG is becoming more and more of a hot topic. Is that a role for the FASB? On the international side, right, the IFRS Foundation recently acquired what was the SASB in the United States, which rolled into another organization, which then was acquired by the international, so the parent basically to the entity that creates the IFRS standards. Their parent, which is the equivalent of the FAF, now has a sustainability arm to it. And so is that something that we should be looking at in the United States? Again, they're not committed to it. It's if any, but they want to talk to people, want to engage to understand what the role should be of the FAF. And as we move forward in this area, what's the rights, area, what's the response that we should have in the United States? And again, the ASCPA is super involved in this area. I think this is something that is going to have a lot of conversation as we go through. So you're probably asking, well, where did these goals come from? Well, they actually did outreach. So they put this out. We did a blog on the proposal when it came out. They reached out to investors and other financial reporting users. They talked to obviously hundreds of individuals who provided feedback through an online survey. They also had 22 stakeholders and organizations who sent an actual comment letter to the public draft of the plan. And so they did try to reach out and get some feedback so that people would be able to give them a good idea of what our expectations are of the FAF. And so that's where we get these ultimate 6 goals from. All right, so that's a wrap on the FAF strategic plan. Again, we talked about it when it was first proposed, and we wanted to let you know where it ended up. It did come out late in 2022, and so that will be what drives the vision, the mission, the values, and the goals of the organization going forward. It was a pleasure having you today on the blog, and we hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.